Welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're all as excited as I am because we can finally say, after months of waiting, it's race week. Bahrain is upon us, and I personally will be on the edge of my seat on Saturday and Sunday because, let's be honest, we really have no idea what is going to happen, and that's actually really great. I'm really looking forward to it. I also have some very exciting news. Just generally this week, I joined the Women in Sport podcast on Cork's Red FM as their resident F1 expert, and I'll be on there every week chatting about the latest F1 news, races, Drive to Survive, general F1 chit chat. And yeah, you can find me there every Thursday. It's on all your usual streaming platforms, so you can find it wherever you usually get your podcasts. And I will also include the link in the description bar below. But exciting times. I can officially say that this is the penultimate driver deep dive video of the 2022 season. And that is obviously barring any mid-season changes or unexpected events, which we have already had plenty of. Obviously, we were not expecting to have Kevin Magnussen on the grid, and just this week, Nico Hülkenberg has been called in to drive for Aston Martin because Seb has obviously tested positive for COVID and cannot race in Bahrain. So who knows, it could be that I end up doing a little extra one here or there when something unexpected happens during the season. We'll have to wait and see. But with that being said, if you're only just discovering the series, you can go ahead and watch the rest of the videos in this playlist, where I will link up here somewhere for you, the link to that playlist, and you can go and check that out. And also, if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and do that now. We are going to be chatting about so many exciting things, and just the season is going to be so intriguing, okay? And I want you to be there right next to me along for the ride, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Alright, so as per the video title, no surprises that we are going to be chatting about the Ferrari duo today of Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. Now, there was a fair bit of bickering between these two on track last year when they were sort of just below competitive, I feel, in terms of how we expect Ferrari to perform. And it's been an underperforming issue there for quite some years now. But I will say it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic develops this year if they do become more competitive towards the top of the grid. So let's see how the team manages that. But with that being said, let's get into finding out a bit more about them as people. So there's actually a lot about Charles and Carlos that is very similar, and I think, to be honest, that's sort of part of the appeal of this pairing for Ferrari. They're both quite chilled generally, but then have that kind of killer instinct and obviously very clear natural talent when they are on track. I think we see a little bit less of Charles' killer instinct than we do of Carlos's, but I am hoping that changes this year, because I do think that Charles Leclerc has so much more to give, and I think it's just a case of allowing him to really show us that. I also think that it's very much kind of ties into the Ferrari core values that both guys are very family oriented. That's really important. And actually, an interesting fact that not a lot of people know about Charles Leclerc is that his younger brother is actually also a driver. He is an F3 driver, and his name is Arthur Leclerc. He has won the F3 2022 Asia Regional Championship already, and the eldest brother is Lorenzo. And he doesn't like to call himself Arthur's manager, but he essentially accompanies him to all of the races, and I feel like it is kind of a manager role. And Arthur is also part of the Ferrari Driver Academy, so family ties equals family ties. I actually think it's really cool, to be honest, that all three brothers are involved in the sport, and that, you know, 2 out of the 3 of them are competing at an extremely high level. It's really, really hard to get there. So the fact that 2 people from the same family have managed to do it is pretty awesome. Obviously, we have had some other examples of that, the Schumachers being the first to come to my head, but I think it's pretty cool when we do see it. So obviously the majority of the activity that you're going to see on Charles' social media accounts is going to be to do with racing or training for racing. I'm definitely noticing a lot more emphasis on the physical preparation that drivers are doing this season, which is quite interesting. I think it's been like sort of developing over the last couple of years, but certainly they're actually even calling it out themselves this year that they're really putting in the work in that area. So interesting to see that. But he is a native of Monaco, so as such he loves being out on the water, and you'll often see photos and videos of him on boat trips and things like that when he has downtime, either between races or during the off season. And I actually didn't know this until I started researching for this video, but he plays piano and has played it pretty seriously for about 3 years now. And honestly, we love to see a bit of diversity of interest amongst the drivers on the grid. A lot of the time when I make these videos, it's chatting about drivers that are interested in other sports or whatever the case may be, but it always kind of stays in that sports realm, maybe with the exception of fashion, and Lewis obviously is very, very musical. But I think it's nice to see that side of them. We should, it would be good to get more of that. Speaking of other interests, he is also not to the level of Lando Norris, who is the most prolific gamer, I would say, on the F1 grid. But Charles is definitely really into gaming, and he does often stream and chat while he's gaming. So I think it's something that has, obviously become more popular with the younger set of drivers on the grid. And it'll be interesting to see whether that, continues to develop as a theme as the sort of changing of the guard begins to happen over the next couple of years, with some of the older drivers coming out, and fingers crossed some of the younger drivers who have not yet got a chance to be in F1 getting their chance and getting a shot at a seat in the highest level of the sport. One final thing to mention on Charles, again, being Monegasque, he is a fan of AS Monaco in terms of football. He's actually gone and had a kick around with them actually kitted up and had a kick around with them as well. So I'll post a photo of that here. But final fact on Charles Leclerc. Let's get into it on Carlos Sainz. Like a lot of other F1 drivers, including Charles that we just talked about, he's a very outdoorsy guy, even when he has downtime. So again, loves to be on the water. You'll definitely see photos of him on boats, jet skis, all of that fun stuff. And he's also a pretty serious golfer. I know I joke a lot of the time about F1 players getting into golf, but Carlos is actually pretty serious about it. I think he seems to get it from his dad. So he and his dad seem to spend a lot of their sort of chill time together playing golf. And if you've watched any of the seasons of Drive to Survive, as I mentioned earlier, Carlos is a really family oriented guy. So it's kind of cool that he has a very relaxed hobby that he also gets to combine, family time with, which is great. And to be fair to him, he's also played with some actual pretty serious professionals. So he posted a video on his Instagram in October of last year of him playing with Ian Poulter. So, you kind of have to respect the hustle that he puts in to a second sport, especially when he's already so busy. In addition to that, he is a fan of Real Madrid, again staying patriotic with the football support as the vast majority of the F1 drivers do. And both he and Charles played in a charity football match in Turin last year, and it was called the La Partita del Cuore, and actually on that occasion they played on the same side, not on opposing teams, so we avoided any drama there, which is great. As far as brand partnerships go, it's pretty well known that Carlos is I guess you would call him a brand ambassador for Estrella Galicia, which is a Spanish brand of beer. Again, being a very proud Spaniard, he has done a bunch of campaigns for them, and I'm pretty sure that he would put that down to just a bit of fun. There's no way that seemed like real work, surely? Thank you so much as always for watching. If you learned something new about either of these drivers, make sure that you give the video a thumbs up, and also drop a comment below. Maybe put a Spanish flag or a Monaco flag. Which of these two drivers do you think is going to come out on top out of the Ferrari team by the end of the season? I'd be very curious to hear your thoughts, and I will be replying to the comments as soon as the video goes live. Until the next time, after which point we will be one race down. Take care and have an absolutely amazing first race weekend of the year.